represent what we require from you for us to move together, being the official government business vehicle. What shall we offer? As National Housing, this year we shall celebrate 60 years of existence. We are the oldest existing construction and real estate vehicle in this country. Uganda was born 1962, independence, and we were born 1964. So as we celebrate 60 years, we demonstrate our sustainability in driving the needs of housing and real estate and construction. And what I draw from this is that we are the sustainable development partner going forward. As an investor, when you come to us, or even when we come to you, we'll offer the following. We shall facilitate the investor entry into Uganda market. We shall offer you space for the entry, office space, at our Crested Towers building, which is our headquarters building, just in front of Serena as you walk out here, for the limited time for you to settle in. We shall offer technical assistance because we are a 360 turnkey institution who holds land. We have designers, we do construction, and we do the sales, the marketing and sales. So in that respect, we shall facilitate your technical requirements, we offer expertise and labor in the market to make sure you become successful. Most importantly, we provide land. I'm happy to mention, amidst us is the chairman of the board, Honorable Sylvester Wanjusi Wasieba. I beg that, Chair, you stand up for recognition so that you affirm what we are putting before the audience. Is right there. That the board has taken decisions as the official representative of government in construction and real estate to provide land. We'll make land available, whether it's green space or brown space. We hold green space where you can model and design new projects throughout the country. We also hold brown land, which is squatted on land with great opportunities for redevelopment in the major slums of our cities, Kampala and outside. We'll offer you preliminary project services. We also facilitate local authority approvals. We don't want a partner who comes to us to run corridors of many institutions, whether it is environmental impact study, whether it is geotechnical investigations, whether it is the traffic impact assessment. National Housing, as your official partner in this country, will facilitate the approvals through the local authorities. We'll guarantee services provision to the estates that you'll develop. As mentioned, estates cannot exist without power, without water, without sewer. And so we'll walk the corridors of national water, we'll walk to memes, we'll walk to energy, and we'll make sure that the investment you put in place through housing and real estate is serviced. We'll certainly undertake stakeholder management on your behalf, but most importantly, being a construction vehicle, we can also do your construction in a joint venture with you as a local partner. We hold a sales and marketing office, and when you walk out of this building, you find our stall. You can register with us. If you've set up real estate, we'll support you through our sales office to the marketing of these properties, because we've been at it for 60 years, and we know the customers and the environment. We also shall undertake equity holding in the development, if you so wish. But most importantly, we also undertake profit sharing in the development. And therefore, we are ready to collaborate with you under those terms through the support of the Uganda Investment Authority, ministries, departments, and agencies. Moderator, let me highlight what we expect from the investor partner, briefly. And this is what we highlight as obligations of the investor developer partner. We want you to confirm your area of interest and nature of investment. We have mandate, like I've mentioned, in real estate. Those of you who want to come into real estate space, whether it's from $2 million to $10 million to $30 million, and particular interests, let us know. If it is industrial, if it is institutional, we have crafted memorandum of understanding with universities on student accommodation. And so we are happy to attract investments that want to look at that massive student accommodation that is required throughout our universities and institutions of learning. We'll also require you to provide adequate and flexible project financing. And on this, I emphasize, we look at long-term financing. Much of our real estate currently is being financed by short-term capital. This is through commercial banks. But real estate is long-term. When we put up Crescent Towers 50 years ago, up to today, as national housing, we still reap benefits from that property. So we need long-term financing partners. We also want to invite those of you who want to provide appropriate technology that will redeem our housing sector. The growth rate of our population is so alarming that, honorable ministers, the agriculture we are talking about, we must protect the land. We must look at technology that preserves the land. And so if housing remains sprawling, sitting on prime vegetative, commercial, viable agricultural land, then we'll have done a disservice to this country. So those of you who have technology, walk to national housing at our offices at Crescent Towers building, or I'm here as the accounting officer, chief executive officer, and the chairman. Before you leave, we can sign off a few deals. In the short term, through technology provision, we shall allow you to import through the government protocols. But we think by fourth year, as a decision of the board, between year 1 and year 4, we should be establishing a local production facility. And as mentioned, we shall provide land where this can be set up, and we shall facilitate its establishment. Second, last, is we want you to take collaboration. I've highlighted this in our requirement, but I also put it to you that you should be able to undertake joint ventures and partnerships because there are so many projects. Allow me to mention, moderator, that in the House, there are living testimonies of those investors with whom we have undertaken collaboration. Messrs. Global Gases Group, if you're here, you can rise for recognition. Together with Messrs. Yeah, they're right there. We've provided land, and we are going to set up the production facility together with them of the liquid medical oxygen and the LPG gas that will be running as cooking gas in our estates. And we want to see how this will, through the value chain, will now impact transition, use of charcoal, into use of gas in our buildings. We are also partnering with the Ministry of Energy through the gas that has been discovered, oil and gas. Oil is near to be used. Honorable Minister, your gas won't be sent to Tanzania for processing. It will be processed here. And it is near to be used. We're also saying we need partners with whom we can get this gas into our estates so that we can save our environment through use of charcoal. So we need those partners that will look at the holistic approach to real estate and investment in construction. Lastly, we want to ask, some of you have a global audience and presence. We also want you to partner in sales and marketing because we're also not only selling to Ugandans, neither are we developing for Ugandans alone. Allow me also to recognize, if Messrs. Reportage Properties Limited is in the house, they come from UAE. We've already partnered with them, we provided land, we are working on approvals for setting up a mega mixed-use development at Bukoto. And so these are living testimonies. I want to close here, but also indicate that we have local partners. NSSF, we are partnering with NSSF. They have the financial muscle, we have the technical and construction muscle, and we want you to ride on this relationship so that we can scale up the production of the real estate and construction. Lastly, in the mainstream construction, roads, water, power, if you think you are interested and we can be your entry vehicle for construction of these estates, of these facilities, we are happy to join hands with you. I will be happy to take questions later on, but I will also invite you. It's walkable from here to our offices across the gate. Before you leave, you can visit us and we'll discuss more for God and my country.
A round of applause, a very serious one. Like I told you, today it's about delivering to you a conveyor belt of making money of opportunities, and you heard from him. And most importantly, he has pointed to those who have already invested, who are in the audience, who can give testimony of how easy it is to make money in the construction sector. But also, importantly, You've talked about how you're leveraging technology in order to embed environmental protection in the construction sector. And that is extremely, very, very powerful. And as we started, we talked of people, profit, and planet. And as Uganda, we promote all those elements. Let me take an honor to recognize the arrival of the Minister of State of Finance in charge of investment, the Honorable Evelyn Anite, who is with us. I also take the honor to recognize the arrival of Professor Tarsis Kabwejerwazana, who is with us today. Thank you very much, Professor, for making it. In the spirit of continuing with delivering opportunities for making money, let me now quickly invite the Executive Director of Uganda Free Zones Authority to tell us how to make money again in Uganda through that channel. You're very welcome, Hazel.
Thank you, Morrison. I will observe all the protocol. Good afternoon. My name is Hezkemomi Alinda. I'm the Executive Director at Uganda Free Zones Authority. This is an authority that is established in Uganda in line with partner states' commitment, partner states of the East African community, to support export development and create jobs for our people. That's very important. This is enshrined in the treaty under the Customs Union, and again in the Customs Union under specific articles and the regulations there too. And I just want to speak to the delegates who have come to Uganda. If you're from Turkey, I'm talking about Antalya Free Zone, or I'm talking about the leather and industrial free zone in Istanbul. If you're from India, I'm talking about Greater Noida, or the Noida Special Economic Zone, which is about 27 kilometers from Delhi. If you're from South Africa, I'm talking about Swane or Durban. If you're from Kenya, I'm talking about Konza Technopolis, I'm talking about Tatu City, I'm talking about Athi River Special Economic Zone. And if you're from Qatar, I'm talking about Ras Bufuntas Special Economic Zone. If you're from Dubai, UAE, I'm talking about Jebel Ali. So we are part of the global ecosystem that supports production for export. And we are members of the World Free Zones Organization, the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones, the Africa Economic Zones Organization, and so many other institutions under UNCTAD that support export development. Now, for those to whom free zones might be new, these are specially delineated areas in a country that are separate in terms of customs management. And so they afford an investor total relief from customs duties and taxes, fees, and other charges of equivalent effect that would otherwise be applicable if you are not in the free zone. And of course, globally, we are moving towards a new global economic architecture where competition is on price and quality. So by government incentivizing production, we are dealing with the price side of competitiveness. So free zones basically promote competitiveness in an economy and increase our footprint in the global chain of trade in terms of exchange of goods and services. Now, in Uganda, where are we? Opportunities coming up in this country. Currently, be part of the story United States dollars, $1.6 billion. 1.6 billion, and we are just starting. This is out of 37 free zones, contributing about 9% of Uganda's total exports. The opportunities that we need to interest ourselves in, we've got a bankable project, off-the-shelf project, where we have already done the feasibilities and the master planning in the cotton, textile, and apparel sector in Jinja. This is a ready-to-implement project, and it is readily available for you to take up. We've got the Mubende zone that is ready for you to take up. We've got the Entebbe International Airport free zone, where opportunities abound in terms of cold storage, in terms of logistics, and other amenities that can be provided in the free zone, including office space. Now, in Egypt, I always want to talk about Egypt because it has the largest free zone in Africa, the Suez Canal, I say an Egyptian there, free zone, and that is a free zone of 461 square kilometers. 461 square kilometers. So we are not talking about small things. Luckily for us in Uganda, we are in advanced stages of setting up the largest free zone in Eastern, Central, and Southern Africa at 45 square kilometers. And this is just 140 kilometers north of Kampala in a district called Nakaseke, in a place called Kaweweta. By August next year, we'll be ready, sorry, August this year, this is January, will be ready to roll. So please come and take advantage of this nascent investment. We are looking at a multimodal, large-scale free zone. And government is committed to provide the horizontal infrastructure in this large-scale multimodal free zone. We are providing, the Honorable Minister of Energy is here. We are providing electricity in that free zone, and we are targeting uptime of 99.7%. Uptime of 99.7%. So you won't need thermal generators in that special economic zone. Honorable Minister, we have talked about this, and it is in development. We are providing the road infrastructure, the fresh water supply, the wastewater evacuation system, and the ICT backbone infrastructure. We are also looking at setting up one in northern Uganda, north of Gulu City in Patiko area, again, large-scale, multimodal, special economic zone. And I just want to repeat that these special economic zones are customs areas exempted from all import duties and taxes that are applicable in the rest of the country. As I again said, just to emphasize, we are part of the global ecosystem on special economic zones. So what obtains in those special economic zones obtains in Uganda's special economic zones. We have all the resources. Uganda is a resource-rich country. In terms of processing and manufacturing, packaging for the international market. Thank you.
For centuries, having started in Europe and Asia. Originally, free zones were developed to encourage trade. This took the form of citywide zones situated along international trade routes.
A free zone is a gazetted geographical area
where the trade laws and regulations are different from the country where it is located.
I just wanted us to have some questions.
In such a way that's not part of that customs.
Thank you very much, Hazel,
to enable production
for the precise presentation. And I've been informed that our guest of honor is in the house. So anytime the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda will be entering. Before I invite the question, let me take an opportunity to recognize the presence of MTN Chief Executive Officer, Stevia Mlinge. Thank you for being here and for guaranteeing the connectivity. The whole country is connected. We also have in the house Mzee Joseph Wariobia Butiku, the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Nyerere Foundation. Thank you very much for being here. So, the panel has lured the opportunities, the money to be made in this country. Where you want clarity, raise your hand, we pick you up. Maurice, you have the microphone. If you have any question, anything you want to ask the panel, raise your hand and go ahead. Oh, there is Dr. Eric Arhanga, Emeritus Chairman of PSFU.
Thank you, Chairman. I wanted the presentation from the Ministry of Energy, of Works. It was a very good presentation. But there was something that was lacking in it. And I wanted to know whether it is possible for him, now or later, to help us to know. There were no timelines. All those projects were available, but we didn't know whether this is for 10 years' time or immediately, or what
you just take that question, then we'll get to more and then get back to you. Thank you, Dr. Eddie. Any other question? Yes, we have a gentleman there.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Girish Bajaj, and I'm part of the Indian delegation. My question to the gentleman from the Free Trade Zone, and this is related to, you mentioned about the free zones being developed in Uganda. Is it sector specific or is it zone specific? I come and sharing with you the experience of Indian free zones. In India, we also have some zone specific and some sector specific. So is there any development on the agri and food processing specific free zones, specifically because when we're talking about perishable products, beautiful pineapples, one of the best in the world, I can vouch for it. But when we talk about exporting fresh pineapples, the logistics, the cold chain, that is a missing link that I see. So my question to you, sir, is what is it being done to augment the requirement of...
Thank you very much. Let's take Carissa from the East African Business Council. Hezo, I hope you noted the question.
was arguing and saying that the reason why ESC is very resilient, it is through public-private partnership that is very strong. So we need to underline that, and we need to be clear to our investor that our government is very committed, but we want also the private sector to be proactively engaging. I don't see much, I've heard government talking, but I did not see investors themselves talking about what they are offering. It has been a government show. This should be a private sector driven forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I didn't know that my brother Karisa is still an activist, raising very, very serious questions. But thank you. On the issue of employment, that one I can respond, that all the presentations that have been made certainly didn't deep dive into the details of how many jobs will be created for each project, or in terms of the percentage of the partnership from the private sector. But once you go to the website of Uganda Investment Authority, where all this is going to be uploaded with a clear curriculum, return on investment, you know, EBITDA, all those numbers, especially for the business community, are embedded there. And we encourage you to go to the website of Uganda Investment Authority, to go to the booth of Uganda Investment Authority, look at the bankable projects. They provide all of that information. Having said that, let me begin with the Honorable Minister of Energy to respond to some of the questions.
Thank you very much. When we talk about value addition in a country, that calls for technology transfer to the citizens and also giving them jobs. And secondly, Uganda has a law on local content. And on the petroleum side, the Petroleum Authority of Uganda is in charge of making sure that local content is observed. So I'd like to allay your fears. Whenever you hear government calling for value addition in the country, it means the citizens are going to get jobs. You also know that in order for your company to get that opportunity when you're in Uganda, you have to register on the National Supplier Database. So you need to register. And we go further where projects are. We do affirmative action for the locals. For example, from the petroleum region, we consider the districts in the region for training and also for job opportunities. I thought I should explain that. I don't know whether there was any specific question for further clarification, but to let you know that we are available in case you want more information regarding electricity, energy, and petroleum. And I know that other ministers are also around. They will be able to give more clarification.
Anytime the guests of honor will be coming in, we shall raise and the anthems will be prayed. And immediately the microphones will be taken over by the Honorable Minister of Investment and the Honorable Minister of State for Foreign Affairs to continue the program. So having said that, as we wait for her, let me ask my brother, the ED of NSSF, to respond to the PPP question.
I actually agree with you. I think PPPs are very young in Uganda. We are trying them out. On behalf of Ugandans, basically, one of the areas we are looking at is, for example, the Kampala-Jinja Expressway. We are really saying that as Ugandans, we need to be part of that. The numbers are very good, so we believe that NSF will be part of that. Thank you.
The guests of honor, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Jessica Arupo, let's rise and welcome her. the national anthems. And take our seats. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, you're very, very welcome. Now let me request the Honorable Minister of State for Foreign Affairs to take over the program. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, the Honorable Ministers here present in your distinguished capacities, the UNDP Permanent Representative in Uganda, heads of diplomatic missions, the Deputy Secretary General of the EAC, our own permanent secretaries, the Principal Secretary, Minister of the EAC from Republic of Kenya, distinguished investors, members of the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda, members of the various investment authorities from East Africa, Africa, and the world, distinguished visiting business delegations, captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, on my behalf of Minister of Foreign Affairs, and indeed all the organizers, I would like to take this opportunity to warmly welcome you to this first ever Business and Investment Summit, organized to run on the sidelines of the NAM and G77 plus China summits happening here in Kampala. You're very much welcome. Your Excellency, the program began some time ago, and we have had various presentations from a number of agencies about bankable projects in Uganda, because you realize we have investors with us in this room and potential investors. We thought it fit to seize this opportunity to organize the first ever Trade and Investment Summit on the sidelines of non-aligned movement and G77 plus China summits as East Africa, such that we can leverage the potential of East Africa to promote trade, investment, and tourism in Uganda and indeed in East Africa. The presentations we have so far had include, among others, from Wildlife Authority of Uganda, from Uganda Free Zones Authority, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, NSSF, National Housing and Construction Company, and Ministry of Agriculture. Your Excellency, the program will be a bit brief because of your tight schedule. We're already notified. And without much ado, I would like to invite, first of all, before I invite, may I recognize and pay tribute to UNDP country representative in Uganda for having taken a firm stand in sponsoring this very event. Thank you very much. May I also take the pleasure to recognize the support and contribution from MTN Uganda for making this happen. May I take the pleasure to appreciate all those who have been in the kitchen, led by the Minister, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, with your colleagues, to have made this happen. Let's give special recognition to those people who have been in the kitchen. They have really done a very great job, led by Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Without wasting a lot of time, may I request the Permanent Representative of the UNDP in Uganda to come and make her brief remarks. Madame Elsie.
Your Excellency Jessica Lupo, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable Matia Kasaija, Minister of Finance, Honorable Ruth Nankabirwa, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Honorable David Bahati, Minister of State for Industry, Honorable Intabazi Harriet, Minister of State for Trade, Honorable Evelyn Anita, Minister of State for Investments and Privatization, Honorable John Mulimba, Minister of State for Regional Affairs, heads of diplomatic missions, ambassadors, High Commissioner, UN agencies, permanent secretaries, and heads of government agencies present, distinguished visiting business delegations, captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen, let me simply say all protocols observed. A very good afternoon to you all. I believe our visitors are truly enjoying the magical beauty of Uganda. The rains, even as late as January, separated with the hours of warm sunshine, continue to confirm that Uganda is truly the Pearl of Africa. The expansive greenery covering the hills of Kampala, the large forest with towering and hugging canopies in the countryside, the freshwater bodies whose streams gently flow, the wetlands animated with aquatic life, and the singing birds of a variety of bird species, of which we have 11% of the world's bird species here in Uganda, and the unique animal species, of which we have 7.8% of the world's mammals. Roaming the game parks, the mountain ranges, the welcoming people, and the diversity of culture are proof that Uganda is indeed the Pearl of Africa. We have a beautiful country with rich and unique biodiversity and ecosystems, snow-capped Rwenzori Mountains, pristine crater lakes, and the world's longest river, the Nile. And we do also have the Victoria. As we gather here to explore trade and investment opportunities, tourism is undoubtedly a major opportunity for big business here in Uganda. I urge you all to explore the beauty of Uganda, which is uniquely ours and uniquely yours. Your Excellency, the Vice President, distinguished guests, I had to start with this as a segue to our conversation today. And therefore, on behalf of United Nations Development Program and the entire United Nations family, I'm delighted to join you all at this historic East Africa Investment Forum and Trade Exhibition. UNDP is honored to co-convene this forum with the government of Uganda and the Private Sector Foundation under the theme, Deeper Cooperation in Trade, Tourism and Investments for Shared Global Affluence. The theme of the forum is relevant within the current global and regional context, especially a world that grapples with the lingering effect of COVID-19 pandemic, wrestles with the effects of geopolitical tensions, and contends with a planetary polycrisis. These complex challenges cannot be dealt with one country alone or one region alone. They call for immediate you're here today. In this context, the Non-Aligned Movement NAM Summit on the theme of deepening cooperation for shared global affluence and G77 plus China, third summit on the theme leaving no one behind in Uganda in the next 6 days is very timely. These summits are powerful testament to the Global South's aspirations, breaking down trade barriers and enhancing economic integration. These summits and a forum like this one will provide member states with an opportunity to deepen cooperation on trade, on investments, climate change, health, resilience, peace, and security. Unlocking investment, trade, and tourism opportunities or securing peace and security requires concerted efforts in alignment of public, private, and regional and international partners. The forum therefore offers a strategic platform for dialogue and for us coalescing, and here, Audric, I'm using your word, on critical actions needed to harness opportunities such as East Africa's abundant youth population and natural resources to accelerate socio-economic transformation and drive inclusive development in East Africa, but also in the Africa region as a whole. This meeting is also especially important at a time when Africa is intensifying the drive for its rightful place in the regional and global markets by leveraging emerging opportunities such as the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement and emerging technologies. Your Excellency, the Vice President, distinguished guests, trade and investment and tourism offer us a unique opportunity to generate employment, and I could hear somebody talk about that in an earlier conversation, unlock market opportunities, capital and financing necessary to expand economic growth opportunities, drive technological advancement, and accelerate progress of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, Agenda 2063 of the African Union. Development experience across the world also shows that no country has ever achieved rapid economic growth and prosperity without trading and investing with other countries. Successful trade and investment relations, again, can unlock opportunities for us all. Africa has not yet captured enough of trade growth enhancing benefit. In fact, Africa only trades amongst itself today 16.6%, and 29% of it also attributed to its gross domestic product. So there's a lot more that we can do, and therefore this forum provides that enabling framework for us to move forward. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, let me focus a bit on tourism because I feel it's a low-hanging fruit. On the tourism front, East Africa is a remarkable region offering wild beauty and fascinating culture. From the national parks to the wildlife, to the freshwater lakes and waterfalls, East Africa unsurpassed attractions fascinate both local, regional, and international tourists. In particular, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, is a country blessed and beautiful scenery, and I've talked about that, so I'll not go into the details. Some of Africa's most sought-after species live here, including the gorillas and chimpanzees. We have the 54% of the world's remaining mountain gorillas in this country, and it's also the capital of the world's chimpanzees. They are all here. Tourism is one of the most significant sectors in all the economies of East Africa. Its contribution to GDP is quite substantial, averaging around 10%. The sector contributes an average of about 17% to export earnings and generate about 7.1% of employment in the total region. Moreover, tourism has important linkages with other sectors of the economy, including agriculture, manufacturing, insurance, transport, finance, and many more. Following the significant decline in cash flows in the tourism sector during the COVID-19 pandemic, East African tourism recovered strongly in 2023, backed by large pent-up demand and lifting of relaxation of travel restrictions in many countries. East African tourism is on track to fully recover pre-pandemic levels in 2024, despite economic challenges such as high inflation and weaker global output, as well as important geopolitical tensions and conflicts. In this context, it is time for us to identify and promote new and innovative solutions through green tourism investment. The tourism sector is highly vulnerable also to climate change. Looking into the future, the need to reduce emissions provide a significant investment opportunity in green buildings for hotels, resorts, and restaurants. In addition, tourism offers investment opportunities related to new solutions and technologies to decarbonize the sector and to ensure climate resilient infrastructure through adaptation solutions. And I know Honorable Nankabria mentioned a few of them. Your Excellency, the Vice President, let me just share a few things of what we are doing in UNDP to support your agenda here in Uganda, but also in the region as a whole. First of all, we have been supporting the development of policies and strategies to attract foreign direct investment and technology transfer into regional value chains. And here I want to talk about the work that we have done in support of the national implementation strategy of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We've also been working with a number of partners to scale up cross-country investments in connectivity and high-quality infrastructure. We've also been supporting regional value chains. Again, the AFCFTA will not work without functional value chains, and therefore important for us to be able to support that process. And I'm glad that, again, when investors are coming into East Africa, they also look beyond Uganda to look at the region as a whole and see how best regional value chains can be supported. Most importantly as well, the need to build the capacity of small and medium-scale enterprises to harness the potential of these investments that are coming in, also as well as the AFCFTA. And finally, for all of us, I think it's quite important for us to build resilience to crises and shocks. The multiple crises have revealed the need to rethink resilience of our trade models, our investment models, our tourism models. In this regard, we are reflecting with a number of partners to see what we can do differently moving forward. Your Excellency, the Vice President, as I conclude, we are confident that this forum, convened on the margins of the 19th Non-Aligned Movement and the Third South G77 plus China summits, will provide strategic opportunities to connect, exchange insights, foster knowledge transfer and technological advancements, and forge partnerships that can help turn ambition into action. We thank the government of Uganda for the leadership in championing East Africa trade, investment, and tourism by organizing this kind of regional forum. This is a positive step towards the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which requires us to work together in the spirit of unity and solidarity. This forum is a step forward in working together to strengthen the readiness of Africa traders and investors, both current and prospective, to maximize opportunities in the AFCFTA and beyond. This in turn will help us to accelerate progress towards sustainable development goals, the Africa Union 2063 agenda, and of course, by extension here, our National Development Plan 3, Plan 4, but our Vision 2040. And trade exhibition, I bring you greetings from our Regional Director, Ahuna Eziakonwa. Your Excellency, she will be coming in a few days' time to join you and the people of Uganda to host the G77 and China meetings. And we are glad that she has been behind our support also to this forum. I thank you all and wish us all very fruitful deliberations. And once again, thank you very much for the opportunity, and blessings to you all. Thank you.
That doesn't sound sufficient for the UNDP country representative. Of course, listening to her, you'll be persuaded, if time was a resource which can be expanded, you will be persuaded to give her more space to keep speaking. And on that note, I would like to thank you so much. Your Excellency, it's important to understand the genesis of how this evolved. This is happening on the sidelines of NAM and G77 plus China. An estimate of about 7 billion people Having realized that we have this potential, myself and the Honorable Anite, together with the PS, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and PSFU, we came together and hatched this plan to say, how do we explore? How do we pick the benefit out of hosting the first ever 2 international summits happening back to back? And this is how we came up with this plan. Your Excellency, studies have shown in the recent past that trade between South to South at much more exponential rate than trade of North to South. And therefore wanted to seize this opportunity to have this Trade and Investment Summit organized under the auspices of East Africa, such that we can pick from the dividends as such. Your Excellency, having said this has an East African framework, may I take the opportunity now to invite the Deputy EAC Secretary General to come and greet us. Thank you.
Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Excellency Jessica Alupo, Honorable Ministers present, heads of the Diplomatic Corps, UN Resident Representative, Permanent Secretaries, Principal Secretaries here present, the private sector, Executive Director of the East African Business Council, Private Sector Foundation, Chairman, and board members, representatives of private sector organizations, distinguished delegates, all protocols observed. On behalf of the East African community, it is my pleasure to participate during this Trade and Investment Forum, but I also want to recognize all the investors that are present in the room that have traveled from far and wide to be here to listen to the investment opportunities that the ESC has to offer, and specifically those in Uganda. Investment in Uganda is an investment in the East African community. The treaty establishing the East African community is categorical in ESC being a single investment destination, and one that is attractive and conducive for business and environment. Your Excellency, since yesterday and this morning, we have heard from various speakers highlighting investment projects that are available within Uganda and the ESC, and allow me to highlight some of the policies, the strategies that have been put in place to ensure the ESC is an attractive destination. And using the business language, I should perhaps start with highlighting some of the key performance indicators. The first one, the ESC has been recognized by the African Union as the most integrated bloc. This has been possible because of the highest level of political ownership. The ESC prides itself in a very, very high level political ownership process, right from our summit, the Council of Ministers, coordination committees, and the various technical committees that meet regularly to review the integration process, but most importantly to ensure that the region maintains a stable political, economic, and social environment that is conducive for business. We must pride ourselves in this, and I would wish to commend His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for leading these efforts. The ESC prides itself in flourishing platforms for engagement with the private sector through, among others, the East African Business Council. Through the ESC, the private sector has voice, and I think that's very, very important. It is one of the regional economic communities where the private sector interfaces with the political leadership to express the challenges that they face and to ensure that these challenges are addressed in real time. I think that's also critical and very, very important. Over the days, I've seen the political leadership here in Uganda engaging with investors, meeting them in person, listening. That is unique about the ESC. I would also want to highlight some of the policy, the legal and regulatory frameworks that exist, and this is for the benefit of our investors. The ESC is currently implementing a customs union. It's also implementing a common market. Now, these are extremely important because we have a common external policy, a common external tariff. There are no tariffs while trading within the community. We have harmonized rules of origin. We have strategies for export promotion, free export zones, some of which you've already had. But fundamentally, the cost and time it takes to do business in the ESC has been substantially reduced. We have about 13 one-stop border posts. We have
a common customs system and infrastructure that ensures that it takes a matter of minutes to process goods through any customs border within the ESC. For a distance of about 1,200 kilometers from Mombasa inland to countries that are landlocked, prior to the framework in place, it took almost 30 days. Now it takes between 3 to 4 days and reducing further. I want to assure you that the ESC is open for business,
that the Secretariat stands ready to provide you with the support that you need to engage directly with the countries to ensure that you have access to the technical resources that you need to be able to take